Okay, listen. So Wonderstruck released his response video featuring Oz Media, his response video to, you know, Illuminati. And listen, dude, this is literally an hour and 20 minutes long. So me and Shadow hopped on a call to grind this shit out. So I just want to give you guys a brief recap as fast as I possibly can of this hour and 20-minute video. That is a whole movie, dude. Anyways, Wonder starts by explaining how he didn't initially mean to withhold receipts, but an ongoing legal matter prevented him from doing so. So in his Whitlonger and stuff like that, he purposely didn't provide receipts, even though they were there, which he shows in a second.
This is not by accident or an attempt to tell lies about my story. My first reason was so Blair couldn't pick apart my records and falsify the truth. The second reason is due to some of the information regarding the car and my employment and its repossession. Some of that information is part of a pending legal matter, and I did not want it to become front and center online.
He goes after Blair for using his mental health as a weapon against him in her video, which, good on him, dude. He elaborates on this and says,
and it's not your story to tell.
Moving on, he disproves the allegations against the clique, particularly the ones that reference the pedo allegations against him. He refutes Blair by saying,
if Blair had the information and documented evidence on a Discord server that, as she depicted, cultivated files, and truly believe this, why did she wait 3 years to come forward?
She legit saved this for ammunition against them, and I'm glad that's kind of being called to light, because it seems like she was just sitting on this for forever, you know? Anyways, he clarifies and owns up to defending Blair and how he lied to back up her narrative when they were still on good terms, specifically when the members of Sad Milk left the group over Illuminati's meltdown. Speaking of Sad Milk, Wonder clarifies that in his time with Sad Milk, he only ever edited 3 to 5 videos because he felt like the other editors were not meeting the quality standard that they wanted to go for.
I'll agree that the video had major issues for a supposed finished product. These issues included scuffed audio, poor audio leveling, unnecessary edits that made relatively no relation to the edit itself, followed by long periods of dead air for an increased watch time push. I do not mean this as an insult. It resembled a home movie gone bad rather than a fleshed out project for a channel that had almost 200,000 subscribers.
He was so dedicated to the project that he genuinely thought $20 was fair pay for his work. He goes on to specify that he legitimately asked for Burger King as payment for editing his video.
I'm a new creator, and I was so new to contract work itself that I personally thought $20 was fair pay for my work after my initial payment that I asked for was Burger King.
You guys should like the video right now so I can buy some Burger King as well. Anyways, he pivots to talking about how Illuminati targeted Click for saying the R slur and how she actually said it herself as well. I'm gonna stop right here real quick because I know this is a lot of information, which I'm aiming to do that really fast, but I just want to take a second to mention what I think. Personally, I think this video completely dismantles her entire argument in every way in a very thought out and concise manner. Looking at all the responses to the situation, this is exactly what every single video against her has done so far. I don't think she has a leg to stand on anymore, to be completely honest. It'll be interesting how she plans to recover, or even if she attempts to. Maybe she'll go back to making fucking candles. Alright, I'm gonna do a little speed run here. You ready? Clarifies the Christmas vlog situation. He shows how payments were delayed for months. He delves into how Blair twists the facts about him talking about his daily life, which essentially was just him talking about how he hated traffic. He mentions again how she had complete control over every aspect of his life. Okay, speed round over. This is where Wonder brings in the big guns, dude. Oz Media.
I'm Oz. Y'all know me as Oz Media.
He basically interviews Oz to essentially back him up on all his points, which is a solid idea to, you know, bring in other witnesses and stuff. Oz backs up his claims that Wonder was given very little work, but constantly attempted to get more. Blair wouldn't give any. And then she would complain about not having the help that is right in front of her.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't provided work for like a majority of the time that you were actually employed. I think we were also working on like Thinkology at the time, but like nothing really came out of that besides a couple reportings, and you ended up not really wanting to pursue that. So there wasn't like any work that she had actually given you part of the company. You were kind of just literally being paid to like stand around.
Once he finally got a video to work on, he was fired before the due date.
Proof that I was fired before my deadline even happened. Before we begin, I'd like to state that I was informally fired on a phone call July 27th, and that I received my final severance letter July 30th. But as you can see here in private DMs with an editorial manager, my deadline was extended to August 2nd. I was fired within my deadline.
And this opened up a giant shitstorm as well of, well, just shit. Now, backtracking a little bit, Wonderstruck was promised $50K a year, a damn good salary, so he moved out of state to make this job work. However, his expenses for Blair's house, car payments, and insurance led him to only taking about $424 home a pay period. And that's before clothing and food.
June 7th, 2021, I was hired by Blair starting at $50,000 a year as she stated, which was a number that seemed rather life-changing to me.
In reality, he was only making $36,000 instead of the $50,000 that he was promised. Something else to touch on is that his BMW, he didn't particularly want an expensive car, but he was pressured into buying it from Blair, who later took advantage of this and repossessed it at 3 in the morning.
I'd like to clarify, I did not ask Blair to do this. In fact, I insisted on our first call the exact opposite. I am not a luxurious person. Also, as a person who does not like when people buy me things, I was extremely uncomfortable with someone making such a large payment towards a vehicle on my behalf. Roughly 3 a.m., Blair sent me a text stating that I had breached numerous contract violations and that she was in Texas to repossess the vehicle. It goes without saying I was asleep at this time, so obviously I did not see a message that was sent to me at 3 a.m. in the morning. Once I woke up and I saw the messages, I asked Blair for an explanation as to how I breached my contract, to which I was ignored.
Then Wonderstruck was threatened to never speak about it again because of some kind of NDA.
I took to Twitter where I made a tweet regarding what had just happened, and I was immediately reminded by one of Blair's managers that I could not speak out on the matter, and I was threatened with NDA.
I want to specify that he wanted to pay the depreciation value, but he didn't have the accurate amount, maybe because, you know, he wasn't getting paid what he was told. Anyways, his life was basically put back to square one, and his mental health went to shit.
If I had to explain the feeling, I felt helpless. Again, I just wanted to do the right thing and do it the way I was asked. And now I wake up and all my belongings are gone. I cannot explain how weak that makes a person feel. It feels like just a massive, a massive fuck you for no reason.
This segues into him talking about his mental health and telling his story his way instead of Blair getting her version out about his mental health. You get what I'm saying?
But it's not Blair's story to tell as to how I got to this point. It's mine.
He details how he was assaulted as a kid, and because of this and his mother's OCD, he also developed OCD. So when given the opportunity to leave his hometown and take control of his life as an editor, he was beyond happy.
What about how I could afford therapy? Something I hadn't been able to do for a very long time. How I could really maybe make a name for myself on the platform, and how I could maybe just for once have full control over my life and save myself from the constant cycle I had been stuck in since I was a child.
But this was all taken away by her, and he basically hit rock bottom. And he wanted to, well, use a shoot. I don't want to be flagged by YouTube for saying that. We all get what I'm saying. This is where we get Blair twisting the narrative again. He sent her text about what he was about to do, and these are the screenshots publicly posted in her video that she reframed to make it look like she was the victim. After this, he goes into detail about his dog and how she frames him to be a bad owner. He isn't. The dog and her dog just didn't get along all the time, and his dog got out of the house on occasion. Nothing unusual for, you know, a normal dog owner.
She paints me to be a dismissive, uncaring father to a starving, aggressive, abused dog. This dog right here. This dog who's scared of fucking leaves.
He goes further into backing up the claims about her living condition in her house.
These are the living conditions of Oz Media's home after Blair moved back in. Conditions he was embarrassed by. Boxes, trash, cups of mold, all sent to me again 2 years after I left Colorado.
And that's pretty much where the video is wrapped up. Guys, that was a lot. I know, it's 120 minutes. It was almost an hour and a half. If you guys want more updates on the situation, let me know in the comments, as well as be sure to have your notifications on for whenever I post more. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I'm out.